Want to get your business in front of real sports fans? The Fade Route with DNZ reaches over 1,000 listeners every month. We drop fresh episodes every week and stay active on social media so your brand doesn't just get heard, it stays top of mind. Local, loyal, passionate. That's our audience. Are you ready to be part of the in crowd? Let's talk about how we increase your foot traffic and get people to visit your website. Email us today at faderoutemail@gmail.com or message us on our socials at FadeRoutePodcast on IG or slide in our DMs on X at FadeRouteDNZ so we can find the best package for you. Coming at you from the AO Studios, it's the Fade Route with DNZ. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Coming at you live from the AO Studio.
Ayo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D. We've got a great show for you tonight.
Yes, we do.
Shedeur Sanders shines. Paramount essentially buys UFC, and we talk about the quarterback pyramid in the NFL. We'll begin today's show with the Mets and the Yankees, who continue to slide. The Mets are on a 7-game bender, but lucky for them, they're playing the Braves tonight that don't know how to run bases or throw strikes. The Mets have lost 7 straight. Like I said, the Yankees keep trotting Devin Williams out there. The Yankees and Mets have the top wild card spots right now, but which New York team do you have more faith in moving forward?
Well, currently, the Yankees are being chased down by Cleveland. They're only a game ahead of Cleveland, who are... You figured they were dead in the water when Clase goes down, Ortiz goes down. Like, you're selling off assets.
Didn't they
right?
go into Yankee Stadium and sweep the Yankees?
They if it wasn't a sweep, it was a series win. So the Guardians are not going away.
No, they beat the Mets.
Yeah,
they beat the Mets. They almost no-hit the Mets.
They almost no-hit the Mets. They swept the Mets. Yes,
they swept the Mets.
They swept the Mets. Yeah. So the Rangers aren't going away.
Yeah.
2.5 games out.
Evaldi pitched like shit last night, but they still won.
Yeah. So DeGrom pitched like ass the other day against the Phillies. So
the Brewers are hot.
Brewers are hot. But
I believe they've won 25 of the last 29 games.
It's absolutely equatorial what the Brewers are doing, and the Mets are giving them games left and right over the weekend, which I predicted, which is actually not that much of a prediction when you saw how badly the Mets were playing. The one thing is that the Mets score runs, right? 513 runs. They're doing all right. Of late, that's not the case. Of late, Lindor, Soto is starting to get a little better. Alonso, he finally took the top spot from Darryl Strawberry as the all-time home run hitter in Mets history. So maybe that'll spark him. Maybe the pressure's off the back now. And now Nimmo has gone in the toilet. You went and got Mullins. Mullins has not had a great start to his campaign as a Met.
4 for 24.
Not great. 1 homer. And
2 RBI. I think he just got another RBI tonight.
Yeah. So the people who wanted Luis Robert, they're going to be out in full force, in full throat, as long as Cedric Mullins does not perform. Because they did not like Cedric Mullins. They preferred Luis Robert. Luis Robert scared me as a Met fan because if he's dogging it on a last place team, at what point is he going to dog it on your team? A dog is a dog. It doesn't matter. As soon as the situation sours, a dog is going to dog. And we saw that already with Yoenis Cespedes. Yoenis Cespedes was a great front-running player. But when stuff got tough, Cespedes was gone. Neither one is really set up that great right now. I mean, if you look at the Yankee lineup, they're hitting a little bit better. They hit for more pop. Dominguez is still an adventure out in left field. You got Judge back. You got Stanton. I'm leaning towards the Yankees because you're starting to see a little bit more of the vision, right? Now, they don't have any great pitching. Fried has been awful of late. Rodon has been Rodon. Will Warren is solid, but you're telling me that you're really going to start Will Warren in playoff series? Luis Gil is coming back from injury. He was better this time. Wasn't great the first time. Which Luis Gil are you going to get from injury? And Devin Williams is abysmal. Devin Williams he's abysmal. He's absolutely fucking terrible. Yeah, I get it. He pitched well yesterday in the 6th inning in the lowest possible leverage.
That's his spot, right? That's his spot. You can't put him in any other situation.
Outside of being an opener, what can Devin Williams, how much lower can Devin Williams go? Yeah, you're going to open up for Will Warren. There you go. You're going to open up for Schlittler. There you go. I mean, Bednar has been solid. Rocky start, much better.
Yeah, but with Bednar, you're asking him to do too much. They're asking him to get fucking 2-inning saves.
Welcome to Yankee baseball. Doesn't matter. Joe Torre, Joe Girardi, Aaron Boone. They run their bullpens into the ground. It doesn't matter, man. Now, Doval, he hasn't been great. We were being promised this super bullpen. It's been dicey at best. Bednar has been the best of the bunch. But if you're going to run him out there every day, and if you're just going to ask too much of him, you're going to run him into the ground. Kind of like what Mendoza did with Oscar Brazibar. He was great, and then he hit the wall. Now he's back in AAA. Peterson seems to be hitting the wall. Holmes hit the wall, and he's kind of trudging through it. Montas was just moved to the bullpen, so they might be bringing up Sprout, or they might be bringing up, I know Jonah Tong just got the AAA, so they're probably not going to bring him up. So they'll probably go with Sprout, I imagine. He's their number one pitching prospect. Why not? But the Mets, this seemed to fail at construction at the beginning of the year, right? Holmes is going to be your 5. Okay, no problem. Holmes has to start opening day. What? I'm sorry now? Excuse me? You got to talk to my good ear. I'm talking to my good ear. Clay Holmes is your number 1? Well, yes, because Manaea is out, Senga is out, Montas is not a number 1.
You mean Peterson the guy that was closing games for the Yankees last year? That guy?
Huh? Why is Cardiac Clay starting? I mean, as a 5th starter, fine.
The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, as a 5th starter, fine. That's what he needs to do as a 5th starter. Sure, cool, no problem. Manaea has not been good since he came back. He can barely get through the 4th inning. Senga, he always looks surprised when he gives up a home run. Motherfucker, you give up a lot of home runs. The ghost fork ain't ghosting.
Holmes just walked the bases loaded.
God damn it. Cardiac Clay. Say his name and he appeared. So, I gotta say, because the Yankees have the veteran presence, they're not trotting out Mauricio and Beatty and Acuna, and you're trying to, and Vientos, and you're trying to
what
somehow.
What happened to that guy?
Eric Chavez happened.
What happened to that guy?
Alvarez.
I was gonna have
Alvarez was garbage. He got sent to AAA. The Mets youth movement has failed them this year. The Yankees' veteran presence, I think, is what's going to keep them afloat. By no means do I have any confidence in either one of these teams. You ask me who I have more confidence in, the New York Giants. There you go. New York City FC. Westchester SC. But, there you go. These teams are very uninspiring. Both teams right now are extremely uninspiring. I am hopeful as a Met fan, but I think the Yankees are in better shape based on roster construction right now, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the Yankees are just in better shape because they play in the American League.
That is also true.
The American League is booty. Just booty. Like, so in the National League, you got the Cubs, you got the Brewers, you got the Dodgers, the Padres. All these teams are good. And the Phillies are good. The Marlins are coming. Like, they're relevant. It's crazy, but they're relevant. So, I do like this. I like the Mets lineup, at least like the top of their order with Lindor, Soto, Nimmo, Alonso. I've never been a McNeil fan, but Marte, then Mullins, and Alvarez.
Marte's been hitting. He's the one guy, Marte and McNeil. The guys have been hitting.
I don't like. Oh man, it's a shot in the gap. Everybody's gonna score.
There it is.
So the thing with me is, I just feel like the American League is booty. So the Yankees really just got to make the playoffs, and I think they will. There's nobody out there that's gonna. There's no world beaters out there in the American League, but the other part of that is nobody's scared of the Yankees anymore.
No,
I think people used to be nothing to be scared of. I mean, I think people used to be scared to go into Yankee Stadium because even if you had a lead in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, they could come back. And then if they had a lead on you in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, that they were set up. They were bringing in Mo. They were bringing in Stanton. They had their way to put you away. They don't have that anymore. And then on the offensive side, they strike out way too much. You really only threat is Judge. So you could pitch around him and deal with everybody else. Volpe strikes out. Like, they're just whatever. But I like their chances to hold on to the wild card. They have a heavier hill to climb because now Boston traded away their best hitter, and they are in the wild. They're in the wild card.
But we'll pause right there for a second. Yes, best hitter. He was an anchor for this team because of what happened with the front office.
Yes.
So he went about his business to detract from this team. And now that he's gone, they've taken off. So you can say that that Devers was an anchor.
Yeah, but see, it's like if you were to tell me in the beginning of the year that the Red Sox were going to trade their best hitter, Devers, and have a better record than the Atlanta Braves, I'd say, what are you talking about? Like, what? And they got guys like Bello, and they got no pitchers to really hang your head on except for Crochet, which seems to be a stud. So, and they're ahead of the Yankees. The Blue Jays are in first. I know, walk the bases loaded again. Know that Michael K doesn't think the Blue Jays are a championship team or that they're a good team, but dude, they're in first place and they score runs. It's like they're scoring runs. Like, their run differential is going up. And that's the other thing. The gap is closed on the Yankees' run differential. It used to be you could hang your hat on that and you could say, well, you know what? We may be losing some games where, we're all or nothing, but at least our run differential is high. It's not that high anymore. It's not that high anymore. So, to me, I think the Yankees hold on to the wild card. I think the Mets are going to have a tough time just because there are too many teams for them to battle, and two of those teams are in their division.
Two of those teams are in their division, but the Marlins have to jump over three teams to be in this conversation. The Mets are in position right now. The Marlins are 7th in the wild card race. So the top three make it. They are behind the Reds, Cardinals, and Giants. The surprising Cardinals. Did not expect the Cardinals to be this good this year. The Reds, they're living up to their potential. Can they close?
Right, but what I mean by what I'm saying is that you have a team that's fighting to get into the playoffs that's in your division. That's what I mean by that. It's like the Phillies are ahead in the division. The Mets have the wild card, but you have the Marlins that are fighting. Like, they're not they haven't given up on the season like the Braves have. They haven't given up on the season like the Diamondbacks have. That's what I'm trying to say is like you have a team that's going to be playing the next 6 weeks, and that is not advantageous to you, when you're trying to hold on to your spot.
But as good as they're going, they're currently going to draw the Guardians, then the Red Sox, then the Cardinals, then the Blue Jays, and then they get a break with the Braves.
Yes.
Then they get a break.
Homecoming.
So that meat grinder could knock them out of contention.
Could, yes.
It's potentially.
Absolutely, 100%. When owning a home, it's important to have heating and cooling professional available when things go wrong. Air Care Technicians is a veteran-owned HVAC company servicing the Westchester area. They are licensed to service, repair, maintenance, and replace all HVAC units. If your unit is not running properly or you would like to improve the air quality in your home, contact Air Care Technicians for a free quote. They offer same-day and emergency services for all of your needs. You can reach them at 914-315-1547. Air Care Technicians, 914-315-1547. Moving on to football, because yes, it's football season. It's here, baby. So Shedeur Sanders shined in his preseason debut with 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. So is there pressure on Pickett and Gabriel to get on the field and perform the next couple of weeks?
I don't think so.
First of all, how is it that Pickett and Gabriel have hamstring injuries? Like, what are the Browns doing? What are they doing in camp? Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Why are your quarterbacks, like Lamar Jackson doesn't even have a hamstring issue.
No.
Why are 2 of your quarterbacks who aren't runners have hamstring issues? What are you guys doing there?
Strength and conditioning. What is going on? Are you not foam rolling? Are you? Like, what's the problem here? What is the problem? But there's really no pressure. Cleveland, there is no expectation for Cleveland. Like, even Cleveland Brown fans, if we inject them with truth serum, I don't think there's going to be much in terms of expectation this year. You're not better than the Bengals, even though the Bengals don't have a defense. They got Chase, they got Burrow, they got Higgins. They are better than you, and you know it. You're not better than the Steelers. You're certainly not better than the Ravens. So this year's about managing expectations. Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle with Shedeur Sanders. Mel Kiper is like jumping for joy right now because he looks like a genius. The lights are not on bright yet. So yes, this was successful. I understand that you still had plenty of players on this field that are current NFL players. They're not just guys bagging groceries in the offseason. You have guys fighting for positions. You have fighting for jobs. And Shedeur Sanders played well. Hang your hat on that. Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, take your sweet time. Take your sweet time. Get healthy, figure out what's going on, and then go from there. And if I'm Kevin Stefanski, I'm not rushing them either. Like, you got Sanders, you got Flacco if you need to.
Well, Flacco is the guy.
Flacco is the guy. Until he's not the guy.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like,
but if Shedeur Sanders plays lights out, can you really deny him? Is the question. Is it like a Russell Wilson, Matt Flynn situation? I'm not so sure that Joe Flacco.
How about Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart situation? Because can we talk about that for a minute? Because I mean, one of the questions they had is like, are you starting Russ just to start Russ? Is it just because you said you were? Because I know it's only been one game, but the kid looked poised in the pocket. He delivered the football under the gun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are you going to just sit him because all rookies should sit? Because for all intents and purposes, if the season doesn't matter, right? If the season doesn't matter, yes, start Russ and let Dart sit until he's ready, right? That's what you do. You do what's best for Dart at this point, right? Not what's best for the Giants.
Joe Shane and Brian Daboll are fighting for their lives here. That's the thing. And what's going to keep them here? Wins. And who gives you the best chance to win? A rookie with growing pains, Jameis, or Russ? They're banking on Russ. And I tend to agree. Because
Based off of what, though?
Based off of 100 years of NFL history. These guys are fighting for their lives, and they're going to do what they need to do to secure wins, and securing wins secures their job.
I just don't think Russ is going to give you that much better of an advantage, all things considered. Like, this is a guy that really went down last year at the end of the season. Like, they weren't scoring touchdowns. They weren't moving the ball. Think about it this way. When Pittsburgh went into the offseason, they pretty much were like, we're just going to figure it out. Like, we don't want Fields back. We don't want Russell back. We're going to figure it out.
We're going to call Aaron Rodgers.
We don't even know if he's coming back, but we're going to go in that direction rather than go through this again. So that's my concern there.
They also fucked around too, because they were pussyfooting around between Russ and Fields, and they were trying to figure that out.
Were they?
Yeah, they were.
Though?
Yeah,
were
they were.
Though? I don't know. Now, the fact that they let them both go makes me think that they really did want to bring back Fields, but the Jets beat them to it, or the Jets had a sweeter offer. I don't know. It seems odd to me why you saw Russell play for you. I think they made the playoffs, or they were over.
They made the playoffs.
They made the playoffs. Yeah. But they would rather go with Aaron Rodgers, a person that we weren't even sure if he was going to play this year, rather than bringing Russ back for whatever he's making. He's making, what, 8 mil, 10 mil? He's not even making that much
that much.
So I don't know. I just, the thing with the Shedeur Sanders this situation, like, I disagree with you. I think there is pressure on Pickett, and there is pressure on Gabriel, and they're going to rush back, and they're going to hurt themselves. Because if you're Dylan Gabriel, you just watched him throw 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, and you're struggling in training camp to roll out and throw fucking out passes. Then, if you're Kenny Pickett, you just got here. They traded for you, but at the same time, they brought in Joe Flacco, who everybody's saying is going to start. They drafted Shedeur, and they drafted Dylan Gabriel. If anybody has value right now, it's you, right? If they're going to trade anybody, any of those 4 guys, it's you. So, and maybe he wants that. And maybe he needs to get out there and put some tape on so that he can show people what he can do. I
disagree with you in that regard. I think he has the second least amount of value.
He has the second least amount of value. So who's number 1 to you?
Flacco. Joe motherfucking Flacco, who can throw it over this here mountain.
Who's number 2?
Shedeur. Because here's why. His ability is availability right now.
Right.
That's it. That's the only reason why. But Joe Flacco, I'm calling about Joe Flacco.
Well,
because he's cheaper than Kirk Cousins.
There's rumors circulating that Matthew Stafford's back is a little worse than what everybody anticipated, and the Rams have already called the Atlanta Falcons about Mr. Kirk Cousins.
He's under contract, and this is, it makes sense because Matthew Stafford is pulling the Brett Favre shit now, where it's like, oh, am I going to retire? Am I not going to retire? Am I going to play Hamlin? Joe Flacco is 43. He's an old dude, right? Kirk Cousins is younger than Joe Flacco. He's under contract. That makes sense to me. Now, what makes more sense to me is if Anthony Richardson is booty, or if they want some, trade him to the Colts.
That guy.
Trade him to the goddamn Colts.
That guy's done. Over under 2 more NFL seasons for Anthony Richardson.
Over, because he'll get chance after chance after chance, and he'll end up a backup in the league.
Really?
I didn't say a credible backup. I said he'll be a backup. He will be on rosters. And then we'll talk about potential. We'll talk about him in the same way that they're talking about Trey Lance.
Wow. Trey Lance actually looked pretty good. Did you get to see him play?
I did not, but here's the thing.
He looked good.
You're going to see
Harbaugh's been good for him.
You're going to see a lot of him because Rashawn Slater is now hurt, and that means Justin Herbert is probably running for his life, and he's going to get hurt.
They're a run-first team, though. He only had 20 touchdowns last year. He only hit 20 touchdowns and 2 picks. They're a running team. I don't think it's going to really affect them that much.
Yeah, I mean, your best offensive lineman being out, it's definitely going to matter. It even if it doesn't in the passing game, he plays every down. So he's a guy you definitely need to be concerned about.
Staying with football, the Eagles pushed their way past the Bengals in their first preseason game over the weekend. Most of their Super Bowl team from last year is returning, so why can't this team repeat?
There's no reason other than the fact that their offensive line is finally starting to show some cracks. There was, Lane Johnson for one.
Dickinson.
Yep. He's going to be out for the foreseeable future. So that already is 2 guys from that offensive line that are down, right? Down and out. Can you keep Jalen Hurts upright with this mash unit, with this mishmash of guys? Now, the one thing Howie Roseman is really good at is getting depth, right? That team is deep. And apparently they have unlimited sources of funds. Who knew? You're telling me they can't find some waiver wire guys? They get the guys who are just getting cut from teams, team players that have cachet, that used to be big names that have kind of fallen on hard times or are starting to tail down and wind down their career, and then all of a sudden they're resurgent when they go to the Eagles. That doesn't sound too far-fetched. That does not sound too far-fetched to me. The Giants have improved. Yeah. The NFC North is 3 deep. You figure the Bears will be better under Ben Johnson, right? You're going to have challenges. The commies are still there. You still have people. You still have teams to be concerned about. Then you look at the AFC, right? There's no reason why the Eagles can't represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs feel like they're slipping. The Bengals have no defense. How many times are we going to talk about the Ravens and the Bills? It feels like a broken record with them, right? The Steelers, Aaron Rodgers is a wild card. I don't know. So this feels extremely wide open. It feels like anybody can bubble up in the AFC. And it really, why not a repeat? It doesn't seem that far-fetched to me.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't think about it until I saw the preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about, all their starters, all their players, all their skilled players. And I was like, they're really deep.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those guys have won a Super Bowl, and they're in the NFC East. They still have their quarterback. A.J. Brown's good. Devonta Smith is probably just as good, maybe better.
Yeah.
Defensively up front, they're a problem with Carter. And I was like, shit, did I miss something? Did I miss on this? So, it's just, I wonder if they're going to have that hunger, though. Because I felt like last year they were hungry going into that Super Bowl, facing a team that had beaten them the previous time they were in the Super Bowl. They had something to prove. They had a chip on their shoulder, and they had Saquon Barkley with an MVP type season. And they just seemed like, they were headed in that direction, right? That's what they seemed like. And maybe it's because it's too early, and that's why I don't have that feel right now. But it's certainly possible. It's certainly possible.
Absolutely is. But, I think we can both agree that I at least don't see Saquon Barkley playing that out of his mind again, last year. No. He was playing like he had something to prove. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And he proved that point emphatically. So, I definitely expect a slip on that. And you said the Eagles pushed their way past the Bengals, right? How does this shift in offensive line affect that play?
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out
because, they had a group that was very good at it. Timing, how low they get.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll find out. I think it'll be fine. I think it's the way they teach it and the way they practice it and the way they play it. Their quarterback's a big dude. He's very skilled at what he does. And when Mekhi Becton is your guard, it's just ridiculous.
It's an absurd squat. It's like 750, I think. It's that's what
the five of them could pick up a car.
Yeah, but that's that's Jalen Hurts' squat. He can squat.
Yeah,
so
he can. Yeah.
As much as they need the leg drive, Jalen Hurts has the leg drive. So
the Buffalo Bills are on Hard Knocks this year, and they seem determined to bring a Super Bowl to Western New York. It seems to be the theme that they're going with. The Chiefs still seem to be in their way. And I have to imagine the Bengals will be back in the mix this year. Oh, yeah, and the Ravens, who were, in the AFC Championship game 2 years ago. So what does your quarterback pyramid in the league look like? Are there all AFC quarterbacks in your quarterback pyramid?
So at the top of this pyramid.
Yeah, who's at the top of your pyramid?
It's hard because you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes who feels like he's slipping. It feels like
he's got the belt, right?
To be the man, you got to beat the man. But Jalen Hurts has the belt.
Jalen Hurts beat him last year. So did Jalen Hurts get into that pyramid?
So
dual threat. If Lamar's in there, can Jalen be in there?
Lamar's not at the tippy top of that pyramid either.
Is he in the pyramid?
No, he's in the pyramid. Yes, they're in the pyramid.
He's in the pyramid.
So in the top tier, you're starting with Mahomes, even though he's kind of slipping. Allen, as good as he is, still unproven, right? Lamar Jackson, as good as he is, still unproven. They're in the tier below. You're looking at Jalen Hurts. He certainly has a claim to being in the tippy top based on what he was able to do. I want to see a little bit more. He's close. He's close to being up there with Mahomes. And Mahomes is only there on reputation at this point. Mahomes is kind of living off of past success.
They were 11-1 in close games last year.
And what were we talking about? Were the refs bailing him out? So, that was the running storyline of last year, were the refs bailing out the Chiefs. Below that, kind of in the third tier at this point in their careers, you're looking at guys like Russ, guys like Rodgers, Stafford. I would put Stafford there because you can't count on him health-wise. You're going to have Dak, that's kind of your middle of the road kind of guys. And then you kind of have Kirk Cousins would be there. All right, he's okay. Justin Herbert, another guy, kind of needs to prove something. He's Mr. What If. He's Mr. Hypothetical. That would be a great nickname for him. Like, Russ is Mr. Unlimited. Justin Herbert could be Mr. Hypothetical. Trevor Lawrence, too. Like, there's a lot of mid at the quarterback position, in my opinion. A lot of guys get ranked way too goddamn high. And, the guys like that are there. And then you look at the other also rans of the league. Your Kyler Murrays, your Daniel Joneses, you got to put Drake May there because he hasn't done dick in this league. You got to look, just kind of like your also rans. A guy who's intriguing, who can kind of make a case. I want to put Jared Goff higher, but I don't think I can, because over the breadth of his career, I can't unsee what I saw with the Rams. Jared Goff was just all right. He was just okay. But there's room at the top. There's definitely room at the top. Mahomes is king right now. Hurts. Jaden Daniels could do it, could get there. Sure, I need to see more from him. Jordan Love, he just had an injury in his thumb.
Yeah, non-throwing hand.
Thank goodness. Yeah, good for the Packers. So, it's just not great in my opinion. Mahomes, a few guys, and then everybody else.
Yeah, so for me, I know to be the man, you've got to beat the man, and he hasn't beaten the man yet. But I'm putting Josh Allen at the top of my pyramid.
Based on what?
As far as a guy who can just throw, he can run, he could do it all. He closes. Like, I think if I was going to get a guy to be my quarterback, that's who I'd want. If you put Josh Allen on the Chiefs, they win the Super Bowl too. You know what I mean? And you put Patrick Mahomes in Buffalo, I don't know what happens. So I'd say I've got Josh Allen as my number one. He's at the top of my pyramid. And then if I come down another tier, I'm putting Joe Burrow next. I just think Joe Burrow could just flat out throw the football. Like, I think Mahomes is very good at improvising, and he's very good at making something out of nothing, and he's done some things that Brady used to do, throwing for all those yards and throwing for all those touchdowns with nobody receivers. But if you're talking about someone who can drop back, hit their spot, deliver the football, I think Burrow is just unreal, right? And then right there with everybody else, not with everybody else. And then a third tier, I've got the Mahomes, the Jalen Hurts, the Lamar Jacksons. After that, I don't think it really matters. There's nobody after that where I'm like, this guy is, I'm going to go over the hill or over the moon for somebody. Herbert's good, but if you look at his playoff last year, was awful.
Atrocious.
And he threw more interceptions in that playoff game than he did all season. It's like, what? And he's just not doing it. And I still can't understand why his fucking football is over $300. Like, what does this guy do that his football is over $300? What are we talking about here? Shit. What are we? How long we gotta wait for this thing to go down? Goff deserves more respect. He really does. The title games he's gone to, the Super Bowl he went to, how could you not love Jared Goff, right? And just for some reason, he doesn't do it for me. And maybe that's the whole Detroit thing. Maybe that's his place. He's a Detroit guy, and that's what they're all about, right? Grit, because he was a brilliant passer in LA, and they got rid of him, and then he goes to Detroit, and he lights it up for them. So it's not like he can't play. He could play. I'm just like, We're not going to talk about the second baseman, Kyler Murray, right? We're not going to talk about Tua because Tua don't play enough, you know? Yeah, so it's like
Trevor Lawrence. Nope.
Trevor Lawrence, this might be his last chance, man. This might be his last chance because how disappointing has his career been? But yeah, I mean, for me, I think Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league. And then I think Burrow is right behind him. And then I have Mahomes and Jackson and Hurts kind of on the same level. You know, those are guys that, you know, they're able to improvise. They're able to make something out of nothing. But if I wanted someone to, like, be my quarterback, to be my leader, to close out a game for me, hit that back foot, let it rip, and throw a touchdown or run it in, Josh Allen.
It's hard because we've seen the greatness of Josh Allen, but we've also seen the really bad of Josh Allen too. And he's got to do some winning. Because when I look at Josh Allen, fair or unfair, I see Phillip Rivers with legs.
Wow.
He's Phillip Rivers with
That's
wheels.
a slap in the face.
Until he wins something, there you go. That's what Phillip Rivers was, a prolific passer. Didn't win shit. So there's something, winning cures everything. Think about the perception of Jalen Hurts. That cleared up much, much nicer when he beat Patrick Mahomes last year and won the Super Bowl. Now it's not, is he elite? Is he this? Is that? No, Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts arrived. Is he at the top yet? No, because Mahomes has all those fucking rings.
And he was a winner in college. He was a winner in Alabama. He was very good at Oklahoma. Like, you know, he proved he belonged. He proved he's an NFL quarterback. That's for sure.
He absolutely did. And, you know, he's on the come. He's absolutely on the come. But it takes a lot to get out of the middle right now. Because there's just, like I said, there's just a lot of meh. Like, even a guy like Baker. Like, Baker has improved. Baker is better.
Curious to see what his season's going to look like. Curious to see if he can do it again. You know? See what happens. But wrapping up our NFL talk, Jon Gruden won his appeal against the NFL for defamation, which caused him to lose his job with the Raiders. This means Gruden will get his day in court against the NFL and Roger Goodell, and there will be a discovery process. What will be the outcome of this case?
Egg on the face for the NFL. Egg on the face.
You just wonder when everything comes out, are we going to find out that, like, the NFL, the Roger Goodell really sandbagged him, or are we going to find out that the Raiders were trying to dump him as a coach? That's what I'm curious to find out. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. Like, it's Mark Davis, not Al Davis. So you figure that the relationship between the league and the Raiders has improved over the years. So, as an employee of the owners, it would make some sense if Roger Goodell tried to help out one of his bosses. We're going to find out, and we're going to find out a lot of things we're not ready for. We are not ready for this.
You almost wonder if they're going to settle out of court or try to bury this thing.
Well, that's going to be the tactic, right? They're going to stall. And they're going to try to wait out Jon Gruden.
Retires?
Yeah. Well, no. They're just going to wait him out because they're lawyers. Like, they have more money than you. So they can just stall this thing out. Jon Gruden is a very wealthy man. He's not the NFL. He's not the NFL wealthy. So there's a good chance, even with Barstool backing Jon Gruden, like even if they were to infuse him with capital, I think they would run out before the NFL runs out of money. So this could be something that grinds to a bloody halt. If there is a settlement, settlements are going in the court of public opinion. That means they're complicit. Right. And then that absolutely changes the view of the NFL. That changes the perception of the NFL. Like, yes, Jon Gruden said these things, but knowing that the NFL leaked this information in order to facilitate this, that's a game changer. That's a game changer. And how do you proceed from here? How does the NFL get its reputation back is the question. So, this is going to be a soap opera, and it's going to be very entertaining. It's going to be absolutely entertaining, but at the end of the day, the NFL is going to get the shield dragged through the mud.
Do they care?
I think to some degree they care. Absolutely. You have to. You have to care about public perception. If you're a public figure, you care about your perception. You want to feel like a trusted brand. You want to feel like you're something that, team, your fans can actually say is up and up. Like you're dealing in good faith and you're doing all these things. You're being about what you say you are. Now
you're just thinking that the NFL was just trying to help out one of their club teams.
I think they were trying to extricate the Raiders from a bad situation. I think, and we're probably going to find out that Mark Davis reached out to facilitate. I think that's what's going to come out in Discovery.
Yeah. I wonder how it's going to go. I mean, that you're talking about, that's some serious shit, right? I mean,
absolutely.
We already know how much nepotism runs rampant in the league. But to go out of your way to, defame one of the more iconic coaches of our generation, I wouldn't say he's a Hall of Fame coach, but
no.
Everybody knows Jon Gruden. I mean, I think at one point they were talking about he was going to be like the next Madden. Instead of it being Madden, it was going to be called Gruden, right? And if you see the guy, he eats and breathes and loves football. I see him on Barstool a lot. He's calling plays and going over plays and talking about football. He's a coach. He's a straight up football coach. The thing that bothers me about the situation is you took someone's private emails and made them public.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is I think if you take anybody's private text messages or private emails, you don't know the context. You don't know the feel of what's being said and what they're doing. And it's, it could be humiliating. And it could be just this side of a person that's not really them. But maybe it was just, maybe you don't know. And to take that and make that be the symbol of who he is just, it's crazy. But I think they're all going down. I'm with you. I think I'm glad he's going to have his day in court. I'm glad he's going to be able to clear his name. I just wish we can get him back in the league. I just think he's a good football coach and he's good for football. And this is just a black mark on his, what is it? It's been probably 4 years now
something
without
like
him, which is wild, because you take away something.
If you're Gruden, what's your desired compensation? You can't get your reputation back. Are you just going after your lost wages? How are you seeking compensation?
So wait, he didn't get paid his $10 million. He didn't get that.
I think he might have been fired with cause. I think we'd have to look into that. But to the point, what's the compensation for this?
I don't even think he cares about that. I think he wants to bury them. I think he wants to bury them. He wants to get them back for what they did to him. I think that's what it's really about. I don't think it's about money. He's got money. He's got tons of money. And that's why I don't think he'll even settle out of court. I think he wants to go to court. I want there to be discovery. I want to see everything you guys have been talking about. Not just me, but what other things have you guys been talking about? What other things have you been said on your servers and things like that?
Right.
And that's the crazy part. That's what are we gonna find? We could find out a lot of things that we didn't even know was in the mix. So we will see.
Step outside of your safe area and make a statement without saying much with FCK Clout Lifestyle Apparel. Embrace the colorful chaos and stay emotionally regulated in their graphic tees, hoodies, snapbacks, accessories, and more. Go to fckclout.com today and check out current season and past season merchandise for men and women. Get it while you can. That's fckclout.com. Check them out today. fckclout.com.
The UFC signed a massive $7.7 billion deal with Paramount yesterday, which will stream all of their fights for the next 7 years. Last week, we saw the NFL sign a deal with ESPN, which gave them 10% equity in the media giant. So, Z, who will be the next sport to sign a lucrative deal with the network?
You have the NBA with NBC. You're still working on Major League Baseball. The UFC thing is huge because
if you thought Red Zone was huge, this is huge.
Right. $7.7 billion for everything.
Everything.
So all of their fight nights, all of their branded pay-per-views, the pay-per-view system is dead. They're no longer
over.
Pay-per-views done.
Over. Those days are over. There's no more pay-per-views. That's it.
And I agree with Brendan Schaub when he says that the pay-per-view model is dead, but it's been dead for a while because you're not growing stars, right? Why do you it's like boxing. You don't just see any schlub, right? You're attracted to the stars. That's why Jake Paul fights sell. That's why Mike Tyson can still book a fight. He's a star. The UFC is still looking for their next big thing, right? They're looking for the Jon Jones. They're looking for the Conor McGregor. They're looking for the Randy Couture. They're looking for the guy that's going to bring eyeballs to their product. And frankly, ESPN Plus was not doing it. It's not doing it. It was on a tiered pay system. It's just not working. So this is now the brand, right? WWE stopped building stars. They built the brand. UFC is no longer developing stars like Ronda Rousey, not Brock Lesnar. They're building the brand. UFC is the brand. UFC is the star. So that's going to be very good for them. That's going to be very good for the brand. What does this become for the fighter? That's what I want. That's what I want to know. What does the purse look like? Are they going to still be in the deal with Reebok? Or can they start selling ads on their trunks again? What's the sponsorships going to look like? I'm very intrigued by how this moves the needle with that level of inflection of cash. As far as who's next, MLB, NHL.
You've got to imagine, Z, that they're all making phone calls. Right?
Yeah.
You've got to imagine they're all making phone calls. We talked about it last week.
Ridiculous.
And I said it. I said it on this show last week. Who is next? Less than a week later, UFC is next. Huge deal. $7.7 billion. If you think about it this way, Z, they're going to increase their subscriptions with Paramount just because of the UFC. Because for $10 a month, Z, you get every UFC fight. You get every single event. Now, you used to just, like you said, tune in for the stars. But now, you're going to learn about the guys coming up. You're going to learn about the B cards, the C cards, the low-level guys. You're going to learn about it all. And then, from there, the options are endless. It's endless what's going to happen. As far as the purse is concerned, I don't know about. But you're going to grow your audience. You're going to triple your audience. Maybe quadruple your audience. Because it's there. It's accessible. And it's only $10. The thing that I want to see what happens, UFC still does work with ESPN. Is that going to go away? Because they do like features on fighters, and they do these little, these little exposés, and they do these little shows about the UFC. Are those going to go away?
Most likely they will.
And I would like them not to go away, but
they'll get shifted because Paramount and CBS work together. So they'll get shifted to CBS Sports, most likely.
Yeah, I would like them not to go away, but I have a feeling that cross promotion is going to go, But now, as far as what's the next domino, what's the next thing to go down?
It's got to be Major League Baseball, right?
So Major League Baseball has the thing with Apple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is what I would try to be pitching to get Apple to buy MLB Network and to get them going on that. I would assume that the NBA goes to Peacock. That's what I would assume.
They're already putting that in motion.
I'd assume that that's the next one. That's another one that could go down. The NHL.
That's what's left.
Prime.
I don't know. Yeah, but is that going to? Are hockey fans going to accept going to Amazon for their games? I get they'll have to, but is that something that is going to actually move the needle? Is that something that's actually going to get more for them? Because you're running out, and I think Fox is also getting into this too. Like they're partnering, I think, with, I forget, but there's a joint. Oh, it's ESPN. They're partnering with ESPN to actually bundle their things together for $40 a month. Right. Yeah, just for $40 a month, you can have all the Fox programming and the ESPN program. So, I don't know. Like, to me, MLS doesn't see, it's not big enough. NHL, not big enough. Major League Baseball is big enough, but they already have that deal with Apple. Like, can they renegotiate? Or can, like you said, that would be a big coup if Apple could buy MLB Network. Yeah. That would be huge for them.
Yeah. That would be huge for them.
But I don't know. This just feels like monopolies. It feels like musical chairs. And at the end of the day, like, NHL's going to be... Where's the WNBA go? WNBA is going to go to NBC with the NBA?
Peacock. Yeah. No one's going to buy that
because they got their influx of cash. Now, they're going to have to probably move. I'm interested to see where this goes. And there's one more thing I'm interested to see. How does this Paramount deal affect UFC's relationship with TKO? So how does that work? Because everybody said once the TKO thing happened, the WWE was acquired, UFC was acquired, that everything was going to get flipped to the Saudis. Could you imagine if once this deal is done, UFC gets an even bigger deal with the Saudis.
That's another good point. Golf. You think about golf.
Live. Yeah. Because then you're looking at like tennis. No, that doesn't really do anything. Then you're on like you're down to like pickleball. Like what's left? All the big networks, all the big sports are gone, right? And all the lesser or the not as popular are going to be on the outside looking in.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
Time to put some grades in. Welcome to the classroom. All right, boys and girls, take out your pencils and paper. Have a seat because it's time to step into the classroom. Dee and I have statements, and we assign letter grades for those statements. Statement number 1. Grade Tom Brady statue outside Gillette Stadium.
I'm gonna give it an A. I think it's massive. It's way better than the Dwayne Wade statue. Yeah. He's kind of like just holding his hand up. It's not like it's not running out of like a tunnel.
Let's go.
It's interesting that 2 players from that Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl got statues. Pretty crazy. Interesting that they went with the Brady statue before the Belichick statue. Kind of like got a fight the power movement going. Interesting. Yeah, I'm giving it an A. If I was going to get a statue, that's the one I'd want.
It's kind of hard not to give it an A because, for one, it actually looks like him. You see so many statues, right? The Cristiano Ronaldo one doesn't look like him. Dwayne Wade doesn't look like him. The Hall of Fame busts in Cooperstown, sometimes they don't look like the intended party. It looks like Tom Brady. He's larger than life. He's got his fist in the air defiantly. And that was the Patriot way. That was absolutely the Patriot way. Dominance and defiance, right? That was what they did. And that is what Tom Brady kind of embodied up there. The 6th round pick who said, I'm going to look at all you motherfuckers that went ahead of me and I'm going to beat all of you out. And he did, right? He made the most of his opportunity and he stood head and shoulders above the rest. So, A, it's a fair grade, and it's a good-looking statue. Statement B. Grade Sauce Gardner's wearing of a cheese head after defeating the Packers 30-10 in the Jets' first preseason game.
Same old Jets. F. Same old Jets. I'm surprised there wasn't more people talking about this. It's a preseason game. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing wearing the paraphernalia of another team's logo or another team's, like, attire after a preseason win? I thought this team was going in a different direction. I thought they were getting more serious. And the thing about it is, it's not like this was a home game where he had this in his locker. No, he packed this. He strategically brought this to the stadium and had all intents and purposes on putting this on if the Jets won. I give it an F.
It's classless in victory, rubbing your nose in it kind of thing. I'm going to give it a D. Only from the standpoint that at this point, it's fucking entertainment. Like, all of sports is rapidly becoming entertainment, and this is what players feel they need to do to get attention. So, is it something that needs to be addressed by Aaron Glenn? Yes. Absolutely. We need to make sure that it does not happen again. If I'm Aaron Glenn. Be classy in defeat, be classy in victory. Be a sportsman, right? It's about sportsmanship at the end of the day. And I get it. Before the people who come for us be like, yeah, they're paid obscene amounts of money. They're professional athletes. I understand. You still gotta be a good sport at some point. Just at some point. You don't rub your nose in a team's loss. Because what's going to happen? Flip side, they blow you out 30-10, and now all of a sudden they're doing JETS, Jets on the sideline. Or they are, they're bringing Fireman Ed helmets, and they're putting Fireman Ed helmets on and taunting the crowd. It's unnecessary, but that is sports in a nutshell for you today. How can I mock my opponent? How can I shit talk? And how can I make sure that the eyes are on me? Completely uncalled for, but it's a bigger picture than Sauce Gardner. It's a bigger argument than him. Have anything you want us to grade? Hit us up. FadeRouteMail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG at FadeRoutePodcast. Drop us a line on X at FadeRouteDNZ and let us know what you want to grade. But for now, class dismissed. Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade Store with DNZ.com today and check out our releases in apparel, accessories, drinkware, and more. Ever wanted an Alleged Superstar t-shirt? We got those. You want some yoga pants? We got those too. And we're not done yet. We have a lot of exciting collaborations and new products on the way. But check out what we have now at the Fade Store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade Store with DNZ.com. Who's the best of the worst this week in sports? The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award. Alright, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put up a poll on our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and our Instagram poll at FadeRoutePodcast, and you vote. And you vote, you vote, you vote. And the winner of said vote gets a shout out on this here show and takes home the coveted ass trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy last week, Deke?
I don't.
Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and beat the Mets. That's all you need to know. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week, D?
All right, so first up, I have Jets defensive cornerback Sauce Gardner. After beating the Packers 30-10 in the preseason, you decided to don a cheese head and walked around shaking hands and kissing babies like you just won the AFC Championship game. Same old Jets still don't learn your lesson. Sauce Gardner, you are my Alleged Superstar of the Week. Number 2, I've got manager of the New York Yankees, Aaron Boone. Still don't get it. Stop putting Devin Williams into the game. Low leverage situations, times where it doesn't matter. That's when we line him up as a reliever. That's when we put him in. When it's the 5th or the 4th inning and there's nobody on and that's when we do it. Not in high leverage, important situations. He's not the guy. He's just not the guy. Aaron Boone, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And last but not least, Shohei Ohtani. Dude, could you just stay out of the news for the strangest reasons? Apparently, you and your lawyer or your agent screwed some people on luxury housing development in Hawaii, and you made this whole organization lose $240 million. This was filed in the circuit court where they're going after Ohtani's agent. Another interpreter down
Jesus
in the drain. Shohei Ohtani, you are my alleged superstar of the week. What do you got, Z?
I mean, you can't argue with that. The Shohei Ohtani thing is ridiculous. Come on now. Like, you're trying to pressure people to give up their land. That's lovely. The Aaron Boone thing, yeah, you just have to figure out when to use Devin Williams in blowouts instead of a position player. That sounds about right. I'm going to start with the New York Mets again. They're back. Swept the fuck out by the Brewers, as expected. Didn't post. Pete got his franchise-tying home run. Great. He tied Strawberry over the weekend. And then that was the only bright spot. Bullpen didn't have it. Offense didn't have it. Starling Marte gets gunned down at the plate. Just a microcosm. New York Mets, 1-9 in their last 10. You are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2, PSG. This rift between Gianluigi Donnarumma and apparently manager Luis Enrique has resulted in one of the best keepers in the world no longer being on your roster. Yeah, you might want to rethink that. PSG, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And number 3, WNBA fans. How many more sex toys are you going to throw on the court? It's now a prop bet. I hear it's green tonight. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. To the point where there's a no-bag policy. You're now not allowed to bring anything to WNBA games because you could be smuggling sex toys in to throw on the court. So naturally, cue the waddling Peter Griffin memes about how they were going to sneak these things in. WNBA fans, stay classy. You are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we said our piece. Go to our X account at FadeRoute.DNZ. Go to our Instagram poll at FadeRoute Podcast and vote. And vote, and vote, and vote. And for our nominees. You're better than that. Just do better. Just do better.
This has been the Fade Route with DNZ. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your podcast. So until next time, stay fade, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review, rate us 5 stars, turn on subscription notifications, and share on social media. Tell your friends and spread the word.